Alright, so the next game that we want to go ahead and put in a prediction for is Assassin's Creed 3. And the character, his name was it Cole or Kenny?
Colt,
Kenny Walker?
Connor.
Or something?
Yeah, no, I think it was Connor actually.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Connor. And I know he had like a pseudo-Indian name. It was like Big Bear that pounces on people's heads.
And rips them off with their hidden blade or something like that.
And,
a really long name, yeah. You know?
Something like that.
That's what I would name my child if he was Native American.
No way. What would you...
Yeah, I'd name him Slash the person off with your hidden blade. Hey, Slash your person off with the hidden blade. Can you get me some milk?
Dinner's ready.
Some beer? Why would you mix milk and beer together? This is...
That's pretty nasty, but anyways, with Assassin's Creed 3, I know you guys have seen the trailer and you know all of the screenshots that have been provided, but you're gonna see the main character jump around on different trees. But if you haven't noticed,
yeah, just like that.
Yeah, jump around on trees on thin branches and still not break off and fall. But
yeah.
Anyways,
that's one of the new abilities. We saw Eagle Sense last.
There you go.
Maybe now it's Bear Sense, like Black Bear Sense.
Maybe you got some training from the ninjutsus or the ninjas from Japan.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
Well, that's true actually, because if you see the end of the, if you saw Assassin's Creed Embers, the animated short, there's actually people coming from like China to asking for help, and you know, well, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it's not necessarily a loose connection, because you have to think that a lot of people are starting to come over to the new land.
Right.
But anyway, we've been basically following Desmond around everywhere, and that pretty much bridged the gap of all the Assassin's Creeds thus far. But apparently this is the fifth installment that'll end that storyline with Desmond. So, you know, spoiler alert for anyone that didn't finish Revelations yet, you know, Ezio and Altair are apparently done and over with. But I think a great prediction would be to actually have download content where
DLC.
Yeah, of course, where we have Connor as the new character, but hey, I paid $2 to $5 for more Ezio and Altair sequences within Assassin's Creed 3. Why not? I mean, it's still Desmond, so it's still part of that story. It makes total sense.
Absolutely. And also with on the trailers as well, how do you feel about the epic battles that's going to be ensuing in there?
You know, that's a great point, because we saw on Assassin's Creed Revelations how they basically expanded the tower, they created this tower defense arena where you essentially protect your towers from the incoming enemies. You know, that was a great idea because it kind of kept it interesting, added another level to it. So, you know, how would you approach it from a game development standpoint? How would you approach those epic Revolutionary War battles?
Right.
I think possibly it could be an expanded tower defense.
Because, you know, of course they have probably keeping in mind that they don't want to do the same thing over and over again.
No.
Especially with all of us gamers being ADD and wanting something new all the time.
Otherwise, it would be Assassin's Creed 1.
There you go.
Where you're just doing the same thing over and over again.
It'll be Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations Part 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we don't want that. But I think it's appropriate to introduce that new character. The biggest thing is that, you know, if everyone's following along with the story, it's supposedly also tying in with the Mayan calendar that the world's going to end in 2012 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I hope it's not. There's a lot of games that I'm looking forward to in 2013.
I know. And isn't Ghostbusters 3 eventually coming out in theaters?
Yeah.
I mean, that's long overdue. But that's a whole other video right there. Yeah. But imagine the video game coming out of that, because that Ghostbusters game. Okay, I totally digress.
So moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
moving on to our next game. I know, Johnny, you want to speak about some of the predictions that you're going to see on Hitman. Hitman, the new one, which is...
Hitman Absolution. Yeah. Last year in E3 2011, I actually had the luxury of going behind the scenes to a very special screening for, you know, just by invite only.
Wow.
And it was for Hitman Absolution. And I'll tell you, you know, if you played the other Hitman games and you're into it or you're not so into it, doesn't matter. One thing I can say for sure, even if you haven't even picked up the Hitman game prior, Hitman Absolution is definitely going to be a game to play.